got the whole truck up on jack stands. Had to pull the old exhaust shielding off. No big deal, but the 3-inch exhaust wasn't going to fit with that on there. And then I just mocked it up and did some cutting. Pretty much it's going to bolt almost straight up. Just going to go straight pipe for now, see how it sounds. You know, at least get the exhaust away from being right by the cab. This needs to be angled a little bit though, so I just cut it at an angle and flipped it around. So right now it's just tacked. I'm going to throw a bead on it and then put it on the truck, see how it sounds. There we go. Nice and ugly, but solid. Good work for me. Alright, I let the RTV sit overnight and I went ahead and put the hoses and stuff on. You are supposed to give it 24 hours to cure before you pressurize it though, so I'm not even going to bother putting coolant in it yet. And then obviously in the first start video it wasn't quite running right. It seems like ignition timing or something like that is off. So I've just been checking wires and I noticed that this wire on this plug was broken. So I fixed that, and then I'm going to double check the spark plug order, make sure that's correct, and then finish the exhaust, or at least finish the straight pipe so it's not right by my head in the cab, and then we'll try it again, see what happens. Alright, so the exhaust is officially done for now. Just got a band clamp connecting it to that so I can still pull that downpipe out if I ever need to. If it was any bigger, I wouldn't be able to weasel it out of its spot. So just a band clamp going to this 3-inch straight pipe. It goes all the way and stops before the back axle. So I'm going to see if moving that away from the cab makes this bearable to drive or not. And to hold it out of the way, I've got a clamp just holding it right here. But as you can see, it's super solid. Can't move it at all, so I think it's gonna be fine for now. So I didn't have a real good feeling about the plug, so I just deleted it and crimped it and taped it together. So I don't have to worry about that. So I listed this thing for 150 bucks. I haven't got any calls yet, but just today a guy called and said he wants to come buy it, so I got it out here so we can load it up, and really I'll give it to him for whatever he wants for it, just because I need it gone and it's not worth anything. So here we go. Alright, so a little update here. I did some research and found out that I had these two swapped. Swapped them back, put some coolant in it and fired it up. It runs much better now. Runs great. I feel super good about that. And I did fix the coolant leak up here and put coolant in it and ran it and figured out that I have one dripping down somewhere out front. That's why I've got the timing cover off. Figure out exactly where that is. I don't know if it's the water pump, if it's one of these freeze plugs. We'll figure it out. So coolant leak out front and one on the turbo side. It's really hard to see, but I went ahead and tightened up the fittings to the turbo. So hopefully that one's fixed. I'll probably have to put pulleys back on it and run it so I can see exactly where I'm getting water out the front. But no big deal, we'll get it figured out. Alright, we got it torn down pretty quick. It looks like the fault was, in fact, the water pump gasket. So this time I'm going to get a new one. I'm going to put RTV on both sides of it and then torque down just a little bit tighter past spec, because the water pump itself is also new. Shouldn't be a problem with it. So this stuff happens. Worst part about it is I'm going to have to do timing again, but starting to get pretty good at it, so whatever. It won't stop. Do you love it? Alright, so a little update here.
Zach came over and helped me with the water pump and redoing the timing. Of course, you've already seen the timing, and this time the water pump, all I did different was I went and got a whole new water pump just in case it was the actual water pump that was broken, and it was covered under warranty at O'Reilly's. And I also put RTV on both sides of the gasket and gave it a whole day to dry. So now I'm going to put everything back on except for the timing cover, so that if it leaks again I can see where exactly it's leaking from, and we're going to see what leaks. Hopefully nothing. Alright, so everything's back on except for the timing cover. Zip tied everything out of the way so nothing should hit anything else. And I'm going to pour some water down here. Just got a jug of normal water because I don't want to run out of actual coolant. Pour some water down and then slide her up and see if she leaks. Fingers crossed this time, no leaks. So let's see. Okay, so started it again. Didn't film it because I was trying to pay attention to what was going on. Basically, the water pump is no longer leaking, but there was a big oil leak out front, which luckily I had the timing cover off and I was able to track it down to a certain bolt that fills one of the old holes from the balance shaft cogs. Anyways, tightened it down, no more oil leak. The turbo, unfortunately, is still leaking water somewhere, and it's really hard to see where it is. So I'm probably gonna have to take the charge pipe off, put some more water in it, and see where exactly this water is pissing out of the turbo. But not a big deal. That's a lot easier to work on than something up front. So next step's gonna be pouring more water in and trying to figure out where it's coming out of the turbo and tighten everything up on it, and hopefully get this thing sorted out. And to throw the timing cover back on now that everything's all good there. So yeah, gonna be driving soon. Alright, so I'm back at it, working on this coolant leak. I figured out that it was at the turbo, and basically, so there's that little banjo fitting there, and then there's that little star shaped thing up here. Basically, I had those swapped, and this star shaped thing pokes out, so it wouldn't allow the arm of this fitting to go down all the way, basically causing a leak. So all I did was on both sides now switch the fittings to be on the bottom and these little star plugs to be on top. And so far I'm pouring water into it and it hasn't leaked yet. So I'm gonna get some water in it, and I'm gonna try and rotate this so it's not touching that part of the turbo and not touching the downpipe. And then we'll fire her up and see if we have any more leaks. And if not, we're gonna go for a test drive. Alright, so I was able to fill it until it started coming out the cap here. So as far as I can tell, there's no more leaks. So I'm gonna start it up, let you guys hear it. I've tried to tie everything off the turbo as well as I could. Should be good enough. And I'm gonna try and fill the coolant system so that it won't overheat. Just wanna make sure one last time that I've gotten everything out of the way, which is possible. Looks pretty good. Still have no timing cover, so making sure everything's pulled off that. Looks pretty good. I think this thing's ready for another start. Putting some coolant in and see if I can get this thing to fill up correctly. So the coolant gauge appears to work. I'm not sure if I trust it yet. I may end up getting an aftermarket one. Filling up pretty good. As far as I can tell, I'm not leaking anything. There's a little call from where it's spilled coolant. Alright, so here's some thoughts from that It runs well. I can tell I don't have a misfire or anything like that anymore. So far, I see a lot of smoke coming from over here, but I think it's just from hand oils and stuff that I've spilled on the headers and the turbo here, and they're just, you know, steaming off as it heats up. No big deal. I think I got the coolant filled, but I'm not too worried about it because I noticed the gauge in here going up. So this coolant gauge does work, and unfortunately nothing else in this cluster does, including the oil. I really wish that worked, so I'll have to see about the oil sensor. I'm sure it's something I can figure out. And I'll have to drive it to see if any of this works. I guess I could test the gas gauge, but I'm really not worried about that at all. But yeah, before I drive it, I definitely need to clean up both the engine bay and in here. Tools. I've got tools everywhere, and this wire needs to be lengthened a bit so that it can be put under the trim there. And I need to get as much crap out of the back of it. So yeah, and I should probably put the timing cover back on before I actually drive it anywhere. But the good news is it is running and not leaking anything. So it's definitely nice. That dripping you see is extra coolant because I just finished topping that off. So yeah, we're in pretty good shape. Excited to drive it. So at this point, all I really have left to do is put the timing cover back on and take all the junk out of the back of the truck here. And once I've done that, I can take it for a test drive. Definitely not trying to drive around with all this crap back here.